a real important lesson which I think all the bureaucrats should keep in mind.
I did want to mention this.
Yeah.
Anywhere, in fact, after this Himachal posting, I did a short stint at Lucknow. Then I came to Delhi. Delhi, I was posted as Director of Income Tax, Public Relations and Publicity. And that famous voluntary disclosure of income scheme was floated at that time. You might be remembering it.
Yes.
VDIS, they all used to say. Yeah. It had become so famous that once we ordered from the office some South Indian food, and there a wrapper came which was said VDIS, and our logo was put there. I said, what is this, bhai? वो कहता ये है बड़ा डोसा इडली सांभर. Voluntary disclosure of income scheme, because the logo and the VDIS we had made so popular that one day even the finance minister called me. I was in charge of that publicity. That's why I mentioned it. I was in charge of that publicity. In fact, I was picked up and my chairman called me. I said, sir, I do not know ABC or publicity. He said, no. You conduct this publicity, we will give you all. The entire department was very helpful. And we even sponsored in a cricket match Chauka. So when the match was happening somewhere in Canada, when their Indian team was there, and जब वो कहते थे VDIS Chauka, and then this FM even called me. He said, whose idea was it? I said, sir, it was my idea. I thought he might be disliking. He said, you did very well. I said, thank you, sir. So we came back. VDIS again, in fact, told me how the government of India functions. For the first time, in year like 1997, I had been given 35 crore budget to be spent on publicity. Government rule said I can do publicity only through radio and Doordarshan, government bodies. But everybody else will say private channels had come in a big way that if you don't do on Star and on Z and on all these, you are not doing anything. No, I was caught. I said, what do I do? Rules don't permit. And I remember my own boss. She was considered to be very tough by others. Mrs. Bhushni, she's no more. I remember her with all the love and affection. She gave me not only herself a lot of guidance. Rose, you are having a very tough job at home. I know you have to report every day to Revenue Secretary and FM. I'll give you all help, no trouble. You come and take all the help from my husband. Her husband had retired as Controller and Auditor General of India, Mr. Bhushni. So he knew all the rules. For the first time, he told me two things. That there is one thing like allocation of business rules in Government of India, detailed. Broad, we all know departments are there. He says from allocation of business rules, you will find everywhere there is a way to take permission. And all these rules apply to bureaucrats. Ministers have the right to waive or alter in the interest of the country. So he guided me how to make a noti and seek permission from FM himself that we do the publicity on private channels also. And I did that, and it was a huge training and learning from me. I remember I used to work from 8 to 9, 10 p.m. every day.
And the scheme also went very well.
Yeah, and the publicity went off so well. And when we started, 2-3 months had already gone. Last 2 months, months when we increased the publicity and we changed the theme from 30% tax or enjoy 100% peace, we changed it, pay 30% tax now or pay 300% penalty later on. Very interesting ads would come, People will love to watch those ads on TV. They were so original. And finally, we collected more than 10,000 crores in 1997 out of VDIS. And department got some percentage for its welfare. So thereafter I never looked back. Then I gained such confidence that from there I became commissioner. From commissioner I went as chief commissioner. I was posted as chief commissioner income tax in 2005. at Amritsar. Basically, headquarters was Amritsar, but it was jurisdiction of over entire Jammu and Kashmir. And I joined on 3rd or 4th of March, and the budget was, we were falling short of budget collection. I think everybody knows there are tough targets for the tax departments to collect the revenues as they are anticipated. And I said, okay, 15th March is the last date not to pay advance tax. We call a meeting. I was told that Srinagar people won't come. I was shocked. Why won't they come? So I was told that on 1st January 2005, there was a terrorist attack at the income tax office. The whole office was put on fire also. And one person who had hidden himself below a table, he was shot dead also. That was the ferocious attack. So thereafter, our people were obviously helpless here. But I feel so sad saying today that neither the commissioner, nor the chief commissioner, nor anybody from board from 21st January to 3rd of March had gone to inquire, are you alive or dead? Nobody had found out where they are. They were only wanting to know whether they have done the case. All those officers and all, they huddled together, they took a house on rent, whatever records they could retrieve, they took, and then they completed the assessment. I said, well, if that is so, I will not even call them. I will go. I told I will go there, and I decided to reach there. And the local additional commissioner, Farhad Qureshi, he rang me up, ma'am, we have no way to ensure any security. I said, I am not coming here to take security from you. I am coming there to provide security to you. You tell me how and where, what can I do? So I talked to the Home Ministry office in charge of Jammu and Kashmir to provide security to my people. They quickly agreed to provide the security, the Home Ministry, Jammu and Kashmir desk. And then I went to the local IG, police, taking an appointment. And it was such a surprise, he turned out to be a batchmate. He was so helpful, and that my people were so happy. And I had taken for all of them some mithai from individual packs from them. I had collected some money for their aid, pulled together by the officers, and it created such a goodwill, that each one of them came individually to me, cried, took out that nobody ever found out whether we are alive or dead. And see, even in office, you have your IQ alone doesn't matter. You have to have EQ also. You have to relate to the people. You have to give them assurance that you are there like their elders to support them.
These are the leadership qualities.
From there, Amritsar, I basically remember for Jammu and Kashmir, the office revived to such an extent that the very next year, that very Srinagar range gave the highest percentage growth in revenue collection, the very next year. Because they were all so motivated, they were looking forward to my tours, and I went 4 or 5 times, and I will tell them I am not going to take any security anymore. Ma'am, support nahi jana. I said, nahi, I will go to support, I will go to Baramulla, I will go to Anantnag. And I tied with DC everywhere that you take the returns here. Then I come now to, from there I was posted as Director General of Income Tax.
In between, I feel like suggesting you, why not to write a book particularly on these experiences which you have related to me, the way you have come. So since you know that I am also from the revenue department, so all these things, they really matter a lot to the subordinates, and you have done remarkable thing.
I think it's a good idea. I have very rich experience of interacting with my people. And the best part of my life, till now I say, the best earning in my life is the phenomenal goodwill I have got from my subordinates, colleagues, seniors, juniors, which I enjoyed till after 11 years.
It's quite obvious. Yes.
So that may be a good idea. Maybe I get some time. Sometime.
Please. Coming back to the...
then I came to DG NAVT, which tenure I will not like to leave untouched. That was the ultimate climax, and from there I learned and doing all this, and that I do this research and write all this. That was, I got posted to Nagpur as Director General in June 2007.
Okay.
That was a wonderful year. We were into 5th year of our National Academy of Directors Training Center.
Okay.
That it became a National Academy from a staff college.
Right.
And we moved into a 65-acre campus from a small little highway building.
Okay.
And this was also the 50th year of structured training for IAS. Okay. So we got an opportunity to celebrate Silver Jubilee, Golden Jubilee. Nagpur was, like, if somebody can ever enjoy the posting and do whatever work you want to do, that was the place.
Okay.
That was the place. So, my first duty was, we celebrated 25th anniversary. We celebrated Golden Jubilee, developed huge lot of infrastructure. Put up gates, increased the library, set up a new library, furnished a new auditorium. No, not looking back. And it was such a team spirit that I had a phenomenal team there. DG's room was a big room there. In the room itself, we kept 3 computers, connected them.
Okay.
So we will think of one idea. These people were so bright, no stenos ever needed to sit. They were so competent, these additional commissioners of training there, that they will enter, make the first start, second one will enter, make the second, and it will come to me there online, and by evening we would have finalized it.
Okay.
There, I had very friendly equation with my trainees, IAS officers.
Okay.
Obviously they were 2006 batch, 2005 batch was getting valedicted. So, as part of the training, a DG is supposed to take his officers to call on the President of India.
Right.
There is a parliament interaction and there is a visit to the President of India. So I took them to the President of India.
Okay.
And it was nobody other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Okay. I think this photograph is of that time.
Yes. So we were... Luckily, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's PS at that time, Varun Mitra, was husband of one of my trainees, ex-trainees.
Okay.
So, it was very well arranged. We went there. I was just interacting all the while. We were together, traveling together, staying together. What do you want, probationers? What is your earnest desire, because you are now getting valedicted and leaving the training institute? They told me, our desire is that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam should come for our valediction.
Okay.
Wow, I said, what a challenge. I knew, I've been very frank, that we had made 6-7 attempts. Every time, Revenue Secretary will send it back. That no, President, it is not according to the stature of President of India that he should come to NAVT. But he never said that about Police Academy. President of India will go every alternate year there. He never said that about IAS. So I was a little cut up, and I always wanted some method I will find out someday to invite the President of India. That was, so we went there, and APJ Kalamji was so good. He interacted so well. Luckily, he had arranged tea for all of us in his garden. So it was so easy to interact informally. So in some conversation, he just said, what are their desires and aspirations? मैंने कहा sir, for the time being, whatever is their desire and aspiration, only you can fulfill.
Okay.
He looked at me. He said, how can I fulfill? I said, sir, they are all asking me that we want our valediction to be done only by you. Okay. Sir, how can I fulfill this desire? You can fulfill. So sir, if you give us any date, any time, any month, we'll hold the valediction program.
Okay.
Then you give up. And lo and behold, he was such a straightforward person. He called his PS Varun Mitra.
Okay.
He said, am I going towards Nagpur in next 1 or 2 months? So he told after about 3 weeks, sir, you are going to Nagpur and Gondia. Gondia is about a new engineering college was coming up.
Okay.
He said, then why don't we give and keep an R for their institute also?
Yes.
He said, sir, we can surely keep.
Yeah.
And then there it was tied up.
Okay.
And I said, we are not going back, Varun, without taking a letter with us. So we waited there. And he gave us a letter that President of India will visit us on such and such day.
Ji, so we were talking that where actually you developed the interest into these classical books, like Mahabharata, Ramayana, and then you came out with your own research.
Yes. There, I was telling that I was Director General Training at NADT.
Ji.
And we had succeeded in getting an invitation acceptance from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Ji.
He came and visited NADT in June 2007
Ji.
and addressed. During conversation with him, I found out that he sincerely believed that Valmiki Ramayana, Valmiki had given his own way of calculating dates and time. That all this Ramayana and Mahabharata history, just mentioned by way of mention. Even we had a valediction program, and thereafter I was promoted as member of Central Board of Direct Taxes, joined in December. From Chief Commissioner or DG, I became Central member of Board of Direct Taxes also.
Ji.
And there I joined in December 2007 and retired in April 2009. In May 2009 itself, I floated North India chapter of Institute of Scientific Research on Vedas.
Okay.
In fact, it was Institute of Scientific Research on Vedas and Epics, but since the name was becoming very long, we left it at Vedas. So, in short, we used to call it ISR, Institute of Scientific Research on Vedas. So, during my service itself, I had developed interest not only because Dr. APJ Kalam had mentioned, but one of my trainees and colleagues, Mr. Pushkar Bhatnagar, had already authored a book in 2003 on dating the era of Lord Ram. And he luckily used to sit in the next room in Income Tax Office in Delhi, IQ. And he used to come and show to me because I was interested. See, man, this is the software I brought from USA, Planetarium of February he had brought, version 2. And this is Valmiki Ramayana. And all sky views can be seen in a sequence going 7,000 years back. In fact, he was not planning to publish the book. He had written the whole thesis. Every day I will pester him, Pushkar, your work is great. Go and publish the book. He published the book, but God, probably things were not kind. He developed cancer, and that also throat cancer. And very soon he went off. Could not follow up the movement. Maybe as a trainer, as a colleague, his subject always remained on my mind, and I wanted to expand it. Expand it so much that I should know the exact fact. So I had started writing articles from 2002-03 itself for the newspapers on the subject. But after Dr. APJ Kalam saying, something stuck to my mind that we had to do something. And then after 2009, after retiring from income tax, I almost detached myself from income tax and came to these Vedas and books. First of all, I got a chronology mail from Sanskrit department of Banaras Hindu University. That what could be the chronology of our ancient texts. So they gave me Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Atharva. And that turned out to be mostly correct. Even in their own wisdom, they never went into the science of it. They were always on Astha.
Okay.
So I made that and bought two authentic translations, each one. Original Sanskrit text with Hindi translation, original Sanskrit text with English translation.
Okay.
Of almost all the important books. And then we were ready to do the first seminar. After doing what? After determining the dates of sky views in Rig Veda, and after generating many sky views of Ramayana and of Mahabharata, and then scanning a whole lot of archaeological evidence which supported those, doing a lot of ancient plant study which gave the proof that those plants were existing at that time.
Okay.
So quite a bit of it I had done, but I couldn't have done all this without having the scientists.
Right.
So as a director of North India chapter of ISERV, I had made an advisory.
Achha.
Advisory board was made very carefully. That was, I took from DOPT who are the people who are in the top positions nearing retirement in archaeology survey, in geological survey, Institute of Paleobotany, in the astronomical bodies to planetarium and all this, and then oceanographic studies, so many people.
Okay.
So I had the people who were interested in this kind of ancient study and were nearing retirement. In their service, they wouldn't have taken any payment or accepted any position. So they were taken as advisors. I would invite them for delivering lectures on seminars. First seminar was scheduled for 30th and 31st July 2011.
Okay.
How? Because on 10th of January 2011, I went to Dr. APJ.
Okay.
Sir, you had once mentioned this.
He was president at that time?
No, he had settled in Delhi. He was not a president.
Yeah.
I took appointment from him. Oh no, always there was a line. People were wanting to invite him because he was such an intelligent, positive person.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to listen to him. There was a line of people waiting for him the day I also got appointed. And his PA told me, don't take more than 5 minutes. I went inside. He recognized me. And I said, sir, I have worked very hard on that subject now. And this is what I have done. So I want you to deliver the inaugural address for our seminar. Seminar, we had roughly decided that we will name it as Scientific Dating of Ancient Events prior to 2000 BC.
Okay.
We wanted to call it at that time like that because in India, even naming Ramayana and Vedas was a crime. There was a time when you really were looking left and right whether you should call yourself a Hindu. I don't hesitate saying this today. Even when I filled up the UPSC form, there they asked for the religion. I was wondering if I write Hindu whether they will select me. That is the kind of time we have gone through in India after independence. Now, when I talked to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, so he said, tell me what you have done. So I told him, sir, I have generated the sky views. I have taken a lot of archaeology evidence, paleontology, paleobotany. He says, ISRO also I had contacted. Even the sequence of rivers had been determined that this is the dating because of the remote sensing. He said, sit down. You are doing the subject which I have always wanted to do. I always thought that there is no Indian history today. It's either leftist or rightist. I wanted somebody to write a history purely on scientific basis, which gives a shared pride to all Indians. I can never forget this sentence. It went inside my whole being that this should be the objective of life. And then I didn't look back. And he also gave me, instead of 5 minutes, I sat with him for 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
That very meeting.
The very first meeting.
Very first meeting. He first inquired what all you have done. Then he told me what all I should do further. He said, look here, until you prove what, since my sky views were coming around 7,000, that is 5,114 BC. He was very clear that Ramayana period should be around 7,000 years back, because he had knowledge of the precession of equinox, that Earth does not come back to the same position after 1 year. There is a slight precession in the Earth's position, and that equinoxial point completes its round in 25,920 years. It takes the whole back circle vis-a-vis the sun and then comes back to that position. So he said that is how you should go and generate all the sky views. But until you prove that Ram Setu was at a walkable level at that time, nobody is going to listen to you in India. I said, sir, what do I do for that? He told me, you go to National Institute of Oceanography, find out what was the sea level at that time, and you go to Setu, see for yourself whether there are any remains of human hand contribution in that. And then he also told me, have not you read that Ram's wedding, the whole genealogy is mentioned. That he is son of Dashrath, son of Arjun, like that. Okay. He said, there are 63, 64 Buddhas mentioned there. I said, sir, yes, I studied. So he said, why did it occur to you that you relate this with the genetic studies? Okay. I said, sir, I don't know, where are the genetic studies done? So he said, you contact Estonian Biocenter Tartu. Tartu was the part of ex-USSR adjacent to Russia. And luckily, I contacted and I found that one Indian, Gyameshwar Chowdhury, was also working. He said that center is doing, there is a world project going on, genetic studies of world populations. And South Asia has been assigned to that center. That would give you the most authentic. So he gave me 3 things. Contact ISRO, find out what is their remote sensing saying. Contact National Institute of Oceanography and contact these genetic studies. Only when you correlate these also, then you will find the authentic scientific history of ancient history of India. I did all 3. And maybe I was lucky, maybe God was kind, maybe his guidance was so perfect that all 3 supported my astronomical duty. Oceanography people were very clear that 3 meter below was the sea level 7,000 years back, and 2.8 meter below is the Setu Samrat. Of course, it's not a running Setu. So many areas have been. It is kind of a chain of shoals, hills, and islands, and some big. So only parts were to be filled up in one time. This is a natural chain. Abhi it is lying only about 3 meters below. And I also saw, when I came back and read the Valmiki Ramayana, I found they were only 5 parts filling was done and they went across. So like that, we conducted the seminar, invited the world's best scientists from all 8 subjects. It was and Dr. Kalam delivered the inaugural address. It was a huge success. And then I came out with my first book, which is this historicity of Vedic and Ramayana eras. Scientific evidence from the depths of oceans to the heights of skies. We literally and really meant it. Because we did the oceanography, covered the oceanography, we covered the remote sensing, and we covered the archaeology. After reading this book, Vice Chancellor of GJ University of Science and Technology decided to confer doctorate on me. And I was so lucky that a convocation was done there in 2015, I suppose. I and Dr. Suresh Prabhu got the doctorate awarded on the same day, from the same stage. I was now, I have, and by that time I had also finished my tenure as member of welfare, which I was given post-retirement. And like, I think thereafter I went back. There was a passion, mission, vision, everything was on this, that I must determine whether Rigveda, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all these are history. If they are history, then they must be exact dates. If the exact dates have to be determined scientifically, then there have to be multiple scientific evidence. Then with the support of all these people, support means they give their own input. Nobody was ready. Archaeologist was not ready to look at paleobotany. Paleobotanist was not ready to look at oceanography. Oceanographer was not ready to look at remote sensing. But all individually gave the best of inputs. I had various seminars and conferences. And after this book, and after that I held exhibitions also. After that, I started writing Ramayana Retold with scientific evidence in English.
I think it is lying here.
And Ramayana ki kahani, Vigyan ki Jubani in Hindi. The Hindi publisher published it first. This was the book. रामायण की कहानी, विज्ञान की जुबानी, वाल्मीकि रामायण में दिए गए खगोलीय संदर्भों के आकाशीय चित्र तथा अन्य वैज्ञानिक.
We were present when it was inaugurated.
अच्छा, okay, you were there. Yeah. Well, book has been very well received. First of all, my publisher got the best publication award for 2018 for this book from Publishers Association of India. Recently, about 3 months back, Government of India has announced a Vivekanand Puraskar for me, for the author for this book. Because that reward is meant for Indology, anybody who brings out the truth and glory of ancient. So I think I got that award. After about 4-5 months of this in 2019, my English book was released by Dr. Suresh Prabhu, Ramayana Retold with scientific evidence. I think you were present there also. Yeah. So this book is also doing very well in the market. Now after sending these books to publishers, now I had a lot more encouragement. People received the subject very well. Very large number of TV channels came here to this very house, interviewed me on the subject. These included Aaj Tak, Zee, News 24, and the best part was that Aaj Tak had done 4 episodes on this subject. Now, when I had sent this book to publisher, I had started researching on Mahabharata. My methodology was very clear. First, determine which is the original book. Like there are about more than 300 Ramayans, but everybody knows that original Ramayana was composed by Valmiki. Ramayana name is only of one book, authored by Valmiki. Rest all Ramcharitmanas, Ramavtaram, whatever were written, Govind Ramayana, we all call them Ramayana because they are all versions of original one. So, similar thing I did for Mahabharata. I searched around that it was authored by Vyas and it was narrated by Vaishnampayan. There are 4 versions. I went to Gorakhpur, Gitapress Gorakhpur, to find out about their Mahabharata, 6 volumes. I am not talking of shorter one. The Sanskrit Shlok with Hindi translation. Made that the basis and then followed all this. All sky views should match in a sequence. That is the most precise treating. Rest all is only Surya ko diya dikhana. I did the archaeology where Mahabharata has endless archaeological evidence. Same thing, I contacted the paleobotanist, ancient plant study. I contacted the ISRO for their remote sensing imagery of sequencing of Mahabharata rivers mentioned somewhere. So all those sciences were followed. But the question is, when you do the sky view, you have to do exclusive. That that sky, a particular sky view must not be repeated in 25,920 years.
Okay.
Then only it's an exclusive and reliable date. Otherwise it is not. So researching on Mahabharata, I found that there is this chapter 6, Bhishma Parva, in which there are so many planetary positions narrated by Vyasji before war, which are considered to be inauspicious, but I won't go into that. That altogether they have been ignored by most of the scholars. Many people have tried to read Mahabharata. I looked at their work with great respect, tried to verify each one of them on my software, Planetarium and Stellarium. And I found that only this date sequence of 3139 BC war, sky view starting from 3153 BC, that is solar eclipse when the Pandavas depart for after the game of dice, till Kali Yuga beginning. All sky views will match. So number one was, that gave me an authentic confidence that well, this is the date sequence, no other. Then lo and behold, we keep on reading pre-Harappan, early Harappan, mature Harappan, post-Harappan. No other name is given to ancient Indian civilization. And it was so, in fact, depressing, demoralizing to think that what is this Harappan word? You cannot say, you should either say Indus, Saraswati, Ganga civilization. Indus, Saraswati and Ganga were the three rivers around which you had all these sites.
Right.
More than 3,000 sites which have been excavated. And they have given you similar kind of civilization. They have given you constant development of civilization for last 7,000 years. But still you don't stop telling your school children that 1500 BC you are uncivilized, some aliens came from outside, they did this, they did that. Whereas your archaeology department has a big number of reports of excavation, which only archaeologists study, which reveal that for 9,000 years civilization and culture in India are growing indigenously. Aryans are original Indians, and in fact some of them had migrated from time to time to civilize the other parts of the world. So that gave me an extra fire and involvement that if I do this, I prove something for my own country, for my motherland. In this book, the hardest work I did on doing all these Harappan sites, conducted under the guidance of archaeologists like Bisht, solid archaeologists, Dr. Mani, Dr. Dikshit, and taking some young archaeologists. I prepared the chart of all the kingdoms which participated in Mahabharata war, either on behalf of Kurus or on behalf of Pandavas. I traced their route, which is given in Udyogpal, that which rivers they crossed. Made that and identified their present locations. Luckily, many of the names continue to be same. Gandhar, Panchal, Hastinapur, Kurukshetra are the same. Then I called one Santu Maiti, a final year PhD student of geography in JNU. I told him, these are the archaeological sites which fall in their territories. So, with his help, we did a GPS plotting of all the kingdoms which came and participated, and of all the archaeological sites, important ones, which are located there. So I realized that early Harappan and mature Harappan is nothing but Vedic Mahabharata. And then when you get into something, then I was told by Dr. Bisht, by Dr. Mani, Dr. Dikshit, that you are absolutely correct. There are so many archaeologists who have written articles on that. That gave me Dr. Vasant Shinde or Deccan. So gave me a whole lot of confidence. And I think my greatest achievement was putting in that map inside this book, which is folded, bigger one, to show that India is the same which was in Mahabharata era. Our civilization from there is continuing from the Vedic times, 9,000, 8,000 years back, Ramayana time 7,000 years back, Mahabharata time 5,000 years back, Atharvaveda time 4,000 years back, and we are having the same Vedic civilization continuing, evolving, developing, changing, amending, altering. All that is a normal process. So, like that, I went, and this book is also doing very well. People are getting very good feedback. So, I love to show this book to this is the book, Mahabharata retold with scientific evidence, same methodology as I have explained. Now, in the meantime, when I sent this book to the publisher, large number of people were persuading me to write a shorter, simpler, cheaper version of Ramayana Ki Kahani Vigyan Ki Jubani, because they said it's difficult to buy a hardbound book of 1200 rupees. So, I myself, with the help of my colleague Dinesh Chandra Agarwal, wrote this shorter, simpler, cheaper version of that and named it as Ram Katha Sitaron Se Suni. And I'd like to just share before concluding an experience. Only 3 days back, I received a call from Jammu from someone who said he is a devotee of Swami Akshananand Ji Maharaj, a Shankaracharya ashram of Jammu Kashmir, located in Jammu. He said, sometime I had bought your book, Ramayana Ki Kahani Vigyan Ki Jubani, presented it to Swamiji, and I wanted to convey it to you that Swamiji went through it. And he has been lecturing on Rigveda, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita. And he said, he would wish that just as people keep Valmiki Ramayana and Tulsi Ramayana in their house, they should also keep this book in their house. I was shocked and surprised. I also felt smaller. I said, "Hey, don't say things like that because it's a very small effort made by you." But he said, "No, our Swamiji had a reason for it. He had never seen you, Mr. You. I had never seen you." Because he said the younger generation wants to know whether you are giving us something mythological or reality. This book proves that Ram was real. So, even one such call keeps you motivated.
Definitely.
Let's see, go ahead. So this is how I am still totally devoted to the subject. Now my Mahabharata Ki Kahani Vigyan Ki Jubani in Hindi is with the publisher and proofreading is going on. And I just next want to trace the entire history in short scientifically from Rigveda to robotics as I noted. Rigveda. Maybe I am able to come up to Aryabhat or maybe like that. So,
definitely all this work is a tremendous work which is being done by you, and it is not for this generation only. Ma'am, I personally feel that this is such a gift to the entire civilization which is likely to come, and they will appreciate the way things have come up. Even I have been attending the inaugural function of these books, so I have found that luminaries are appreciating it like anything. So definitely something worthwhile is there, and today I think our listeners will further appreciate the efforts put by you, and I congratulate you. Rather, the entire generation is there to congratulate you for doing such a tremendous work, such a beautiful work, and it is a real contribution done by you to the whole of society, to the whole of humanity.
Thank you so much. I think I'll just quote Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He used to tell me, don't get impatient. A new idea is not accepted immediately. But sometime, maybe 20 years later, 30 years later, history would be written in this manner, and people will accept that scientifically written history. And maybe history as a subject goes to science, not arts. So, with that, thank you a lot for
Thank you very much, ma'am. I personally feel that we may not have to wait for 20-25 years, but during your own time you will find the very positive response the way things are coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.